white tokens. So one of the things, I like the look of what this deck has going on a lot in it, just because the best way to tell if your brew has good card quality is if you look at your cards and figure out how many of your cards see play in other decks in the format. So this deck has a lot of just playable Magic cards in it in a neat configuration. So, you know, Adanto Vanguard, Lava Coil, History of Benalia, Heroic Reinforcements, Experimental Frenzy. These are all incredibly powerful spells in the format. I like that this deck is trying to leverage Divine Visitation without being a slave to trying to leverage Divine Visitation. And what I mean by that is this deck has a lot of cards in it that are good with this card, but we're not just jamming 4 copies of this clunky 5-mana card that needs other things with it to go right. So I think if you want to leverage a card like this, not playing all of them is often correct, because if you draw too many of them and not the right mix of enablers to go alongside it, you're going to be pretty sad. The Esper Amulet deck is a lot of fun. I've been liking that one a lot. So without further ado, let's pop on into a queue here with the red-white deck and see how it goes. Some Boros tokens, if you would. I'm going to mute one more time here and finish the last few bites of my sandwich as we get started here. Hey, Berniak, thank you for the 4-month resub. I appreciate you poking in from YouTube to do that. Thanks for keeping me employed here. What 3-drop am I supposed to play here? Is it History or Warboss? I think it might be History. They don't eat the token this turn. The fact that they could have Spell Pierce is a big deal. So I'm going to go ahead and attack first here, since I'm going to play the History, because this is a free attack into a decision. So if I have like a shock or a lightning strike, my opponent's not going to block, and they chose not to block. Whereas if I played this pre-combat, they know I wouldn't have a trick, and then it's a free block for them, right? So by attacking first, I get to get in 3 potential points of damage. And like, obviously they could call there and I can't punish them, but I give them a choice by attacking before I play my spell. Scissor, thank you for the brand new tier 1 sub. I really appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. All right, I think I'm just gonna do this and then do Legion Warboss here. And then next turn we'll jam this. I'm not attacking with this because they have 2 instants. I'd rather this doesn't die. Wow, they just have a whole lot of nothing. What on God's green earth is in their hand? Am I about to get like fire recannonnated? They have some kind of sweeper here. Oh, I guess I could have flipped the Legion's Landing. That's true. I wasn't thinking about flipping the Legion's Landing. I just didn't want this to die because I have this popping off next turn.
Monsters.
So I assume they're gonna take the Legion Warboss and attack here. I don't know, this is pretty lethal next turn. Handful of diff visits? Yeah, could be. Wow, that's deal. Deal. Are they dead? They block here. I don't know. They're probably dead. Figure it out. You let me know what you work out here, okay? Oh, I can't use the attack with all button because there's a creature that must attack. What a chore. Dear Magic Arena, please let me use the attack with all feature when there's a creature that must attack. My smorking experience has been ruined because I had to click on every creature. I just wanted to smork and I had to click way too much. Oh yeah. Alrighty. That's just good clean living right there. I like that there's another land on the board. Do I want to pull up in this matchup? Shock's probably pretty bad, right? Tajic's probably not terrible because I'd assume they have like the fiery candidate in their board. This might be an Aurelia matchup. I'm gonna cut these. Maybe I don't need the extra land when I'm on the draw. Yeah, maybe I don't need the land if I'm on the draw. Yeah, I'm just gonna run it. I don't know, like when you bring in like 2 4s and 2 5s, like having the 25th land makes a lot of sense. I think binding's good enough here. That's a lot of 4s. And like the thing you need to keep track of too is that like the more 4s that I have in my deck, the worse my experimental frenzies get, which is a big deal. Does this deck really need Frenzy? Potentially. I don't know. It's one of the things we're trying to figure out as we play. Why Aurelia here? Because she's just a large threat that doesn't get swept away. Yeah, I think Aurelia is better than Lyra because we're the aggressor in this matchup. I think which of those 2 angels is better, it really depends on role assessment. I think most of the time we're going to be the beatdown. But I really don't know exactly what the opponent's doing, so I don't know if that's a correct assessment because they're not really playing a stock deck. Yeah, that's true. Just like playing 25 lands in the main deck with some memorials could be very good. They have a bunch of counterspells in their deck. Yeah, but I think if we're boarding out Frenzy in a matchup like this, we probably just like don't want it in the 75. Like, if I don't want Frenzy against the control decks, I probably just don't want it. I think I like that suggestion that like this probably isn't a Frenzy deck and I probably want just more lands overall with some utility lands. Wonder if we're gonna get swept away here. So I'm actually going to stack these this way, so that way these get bigger before I make the new knight. Because if I stack them the other way, my opponent could kill all 4 of my knights before any of them get bigger. So here's the thing though, Silaris. You want to think about your cards like your tap lands. If you notice, I mentioned adding a land to this deck. So you don't cut a land for tap lands necessarily. Maybe 1, maybe you play like 25 lands and 2 tap lands, but you're replacing a spell with the land, basically. Please keep in mind that if you want to be critical of play on this stream, you need to be constructive and specific about why you're being critical. You need to say, that was a mistake, and this is why it was a mistake. So be constructive, be specific, or you're gonna get a 10-minute break. Driving in my car, beep beep. Can you explain the stacking thing again? Because I didn't understand. So when you have multiple triggers go on the stack at the same time in Magic, the person that controls those triggers chooses the order in which they go on the stack and get to resolve. So in this specific instance, because I had 2 History of Benalias popping off, I get to choose which trigger I want to resolve first, whether I want to make a knight first or give my knights a bonus first. Heroic Reinforcements is a very, very good Magic the Gathering card. I agree with that. Get him. All right, onward, upward, backward, forward. Yeah, his Heroic Reinforcements is a very good card for letting you balance and keep control in check a little bit. Sometimes I think my boyfriend Curtis loves you more than me. I'm just the man in the talkie box, okay? I'm not real. When you're not watching me, I basically just don't exist. Yeah, Groll Spellbreaker plus Reinforcement sounds awesome. They removed the ability to play best of 3 on the ladder. Hey, Chris, happy Grolla days. Speaking, it's weird. We talked about Groll and then Van Meter appeared. He must have been tingling. Thanks for the 31 months, Chris. Hope you had a good holiday season. This hand's not good enough, right? Like, this hand, like, needs spells, but it, like, also needs another white source. I'm gonna keep this on the draw with the scribe. Dang, never didn't have it. Had a convo with my parents about how Twitch has replaced my TV and they didn't understand it. Yeah, I think that's true for a lot of people. There are a lot of people my age and especially younger that are like, and even some older folks too, they're just like, this, and the interactive part is good too. The fact that Twitch is interactive is a huge draw for a lot of people. Yeah, I watch Netflix and Twitch. Netflix, Twitch. We have a Hulu account too, I suppose. There's a couple of shows that are on Hulu that are not on Twitch. Now, the removal of the best of 3 ladder happened purely because they're behind on their timelines and didn't have time to do both. So what I want to do here, so I'm definitely shocking this in. And I have 6 permanents right now. So if and this is something that's kind of confusing. So if I use this, it doesn't actually count as attacking with creatures. So it doesn't actually flip Legion's Landing because you don't declare these creatures as attackers, which kind of sucks. I think I don't want to play another summoner out though, because I'd prefer to not get that swept away by a sweeper here. I have no idea. I'm not playing best of 1 ranked because I don't enjoy playing best of 1 Magic. And honestly, if you're someone who's potentially worried about best of 1 becoming the future of Magic, you shouldn't play the ranked ladder. Don't become part of the statistic that WotC could potentially use to justify making all of Arena best of 1. No, I'm glad we played around the Deafening Clarion at least. Hopefully we run some lands off here. Hand's got some beef in it if we get some lands. It's okay to enjoy best of one. There's nothing wrong with enjoying best of one. If you enjoy best of one, you can and should play best of one. The correct way to play Magic is the way you enjoy playing Magic. But if you don't enjoy playing best of one, you should saying Magic should never be best of one or it should always be best of one. Both of those are wrong. You should play Magic in a way that you enjoy. Magic's a game that you should be playing for fun. It's okay for different people to like different things. Someone liking best of one and me not liking it is no different than someone liking EDH and me not liking EDH, or someone liking limited and me not liking limited. Magic, we call everything Magic the Gathering, but Magic is really a rules engine under which a bunch of different games are played. Different formats of Magic are basically different games. They can vary so much. And best of one varies a lot from best of three, even if they're both just with standard legal sets. I explained the Legion landing thing earlier. So the summoner, well, that was a punt. The way the summoner works with Legion's landing, the tokens that come into play off the summoner aren't declared as attackers, so that it doesn't get flipped. All right, let's try and kill this. See if we can capitalize on their seal away mistake. Perfect.
I have faced worse than the likes of you.
I will, however, time out nonsense that's posted in my chat. Like, best of one makes your gameplay a lot more meaningful. No, it doesn't do that. That's just silly. Your Magic being higher variance and getting punished for things like that doesn't make your gameplay more meaningful. What is Inked Gaming? Inked Gaming does custom gaming supplies such as mouse pads and playmats and bags and stuff like that. You can upload custom artwork to it or choose from the selection of artwork that they already have on their website. Also, I would encourage the mods for everybody that's talking about, like, there's people that like to do this intellectually dishonest thing. So either they're stupid or they know they're making a bad comparison and they're making it anyways, which is people like to do things, well, if best of 3 is better than best of 1, we should play best of 5 or best of 7 or best of 99. And that's nonsense, because there is a huge fundamental difference between best of 3 and best of 1, and that's the introduction of sideboards. And the introduction of sideboards in Magic the Gathering is huge. It makes a very, very big difference. Also, fun fact, tournament best of Magic is not best of 3. Tournament Magic is first person to win 2 games wins. So you can technically play 4 games in Tournament Magic, just for reference. I didn't pay my mana automatically. Weird. Oh. That's why. Weird. Hey, Tasty Wonton, thank you for the 2-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for keeping me employed here. I would love some huge, huge tracts of land. Game draws are possible in Magic the Gathering. So the first person to win 2 games is fundamentally different from best of 3. This frenzy is also about to be very, very good because our deck's about to be real thin.
Awaken.
Nah, I don't think so, Scizor. I think I'd rather just like max out everything here. If in standard you can draw, if you make yourself draw the more cards your deck and put your opponent to 0. Yeah, those people are really silly because they could make their opponent draw those cards, Isha. People should read those cards. I'm new to best of 3 coming from Hearthstone and I have a general question. Do you build a deck which is in theory more good, less everything and then make minor adjustments when sideboarding? Or do you change? And so it depends. One of the biggest things I think that new players need to understand when coming from other games they're not familiar with best of 3 is that your sideboard is part of your deck. You shouldn't build your deck and then build your sideboard most of the time. Those two things should go hand in hand with each other. So your sideboard is part of your deck and vice versa. You shouldn't build a 60 card deck and then build a 15 card sideboard. Should I shock? Yeah, I should shock the Teferi. Good call, good call. Shock the Teferi. Nah, killing Teferi's probably better. They're gonna have a counterspell here now. I'm gonna feel real dumb. Sure, Rail Emblem is one that could happen with. Would you accept Garrick Force Straw for a tier 3? Probably not, Turkin. The last couple times we played that, it was just really bad. I mean, this actually seems good for me, right? Because, like, they don't have any mana to beat my summoner now. I let that be countered because I clicked through to my opponent's turn because I wasn't paying attention. We are many things here, but I am not a liar. Yeah, usually Loma. So basically, when you build a deck, you want to be thinking about, well, these are the cards I want. You want to think about your deck as lots of little decks all within themselves. So like, one version of your deck is your deck against Jeskai control, and one version of your deck is your deck against green-black, and another version is your deck against tokens. And you want to do that, and then which configuration your deck starts with for game 1 depends on what you want to hedge, basically. Shocking that land in means they have subtle. I have no idea. They have treasure tokens too. So what do I want to attack with this? I probably want to attack with this. Do I want to play the Legion Warboss pre-combat? Probably. Oh, it does, doesn't it? This is lethal without exposing the summoner. I like that idea. That leaves me dead to Justice Strike, though. I think I'm supposed to attack with the Tocatli. I think I'm supposed to attack with the summoner here too. Because, like, I get to leave these back as blockers, so, like, I'm not dead on the backswing. And I get to stick Experimental Frenzy with, like, a ton of lands. So I have 7, 8, 9 lands. So I'm going to do this for X's 4. So that way I can play Experimental Frenzy out post-combat. Can't help but notice your camera border uses a legendary styling for the nameplate, but your type is Planeswalker, which happens to be the only card type that doesn't use the new legendary styling. Does that count as a misplay? No, that counted as an intentional decision. I did that on purpose. They had another subtle wreckage. All right. Alrighty. All the basics are out of our deck. What do they have over here with Karn? Anything useful? No, not really. Well, we have some lands in our deck. We don't have basic lands in our deck, right? So we're out of basic lands, but we have Clifftop Retreats and Sacred Foundries. So we could still technically brick and die here.
Evil cannot withstand a righteous army.
Evil cannot withstand a white righteous army. Do I chump block? I'm probably not supposed to chump block, because if I don't chump block, I have 2 lethal angels next turn. I'm dead to explosion regardless, right? They had 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ooh, that's okay. That's potentially very scary. Lava Coil doesn't hit players. Come on. Was I supposed to just blow this up and cast the reinforcements? Maybe I was just supposed to blow that up and cast reinforcements. Alright, dead to Ionize. Oh, I'm just dead to treasure maps. Yeah, I guess I should have jump blocked. I'm dead to treasure maps. I should have jump blocked there. Niv wasn't on my radar. We were dead to most other things regardless there, but Niv definitely wasn't on my radar. Alright, so Lava Coil's pretty bad here. Banefire and the Ixalan's binding seem fine. Tajic seems good, I agree with that. Shock is not particularly great. I'm gonna bring in Aurelia as just like an extra threat. Seems good. No, you don't block Niv. You either kill Niv or you die. Lyra blocking Niv is not a game-winning proposition. Lyra to theoretically block Niv is like a lose the game more slowly proposition. No, I think Visitation is very important here, Pikes. Like, making all of our threats that much better is important. Visitation would have been the reason I'd have won that game if I'd have blocked properly. Yeah, Niv basically reads, if you untap with this, win the game. This hand's real good on the play. I don't think so, Mello. Again, like, I want to test the deck as it was submitted, and if I don't want Experimental Frenzy against Jeskai control, it just shouldn't be in my deck. So again, gathering feedback on how the deck is constructed, like, if I don't want Frenzy here, I want it nowhere. And it might be that I want it nowhere, but this is definitely a matchup where I want it, so I want to play games with it in this matchup to know if it's worth playing in the deck overall. Why is the token better? And Cesar, instead of me telling you you're wrong, make an argument for why your idea is correct. bottom. This hand's really good against control. Just Adanto into history. It's just like our best curve on the play. I think we definitely had the tools to win that first game, and I mismanaged my resources a bit. Definitely used my health total more liberally than I needed to otherwise, and it ended up costing me. Opponent appears to be AFK or something. All right, welcome back. Meandering river. I mean, they're up a game. There's no reason for them to slow roll anything here. CGN Commander seems okay. That could possibly be a card that's better than Experimental Frenzy as well, if we're interested in playing something else there. I think that could definitely be a reasonable consideration. Double Adanto is just going to be a huge beating for them. Hopefully. Ideally double Adanto is going to be a huge beating for them. I guess if they have Settle the Wreckage next turn, we could be in a little bit of trouble. If they pass with 4 mana up, I might only attack with these two rather than this. Although, I don't know. I guess this is a lethal attack. I mean, there's really no reason to even grind 2 Mythic, right? Like, you only get 5 booster packs. Like, if your goal is prizes only, you know, Mythic's kind of meaningless right now. Bragging rights, I guess. Hopefully we hit the untapped land next turn, so that way we can play this binding and take their treasure maps away. It's unfortunate. Probably dead if they have a Niv or something big and scary next turn. I guess they're at 7, so maybe we could pressure through here, especially with the summoner. This lets them jump up into playing more expensive spells, though, because they ramp here. The only reason to play to Mythic is if you are having fun playing best of 1 Magic. I guess I just attack with everything, right? And, like, make a bunch of tokens. Because if they settle me, I get a bunch of lands, then Banefire's lethal. Man, I'm one off of ascending here, too. Mythic probably gets you stream viewers, too. Nah, not really. That's not how this works. If being good at Magic got you stream viewers, there would be a lot of Pro Tour mainstays that stream on occasion that would have more viewers than me. Don't you need to be Mythic? No, not at all. They have announced 0 details about how to get into anything for next year. I'm not even sure Wizards of the Coast knows what the details are to get into their tournaments for next year. So... And this first ladder season, is they announced it's like a preseason ladder, which is why everybody freaking out that it's only best of 1 is silly. Like, this first ladder definitely doesn't lead to anywhere, and we don't know in the future what future ladders will lead to, because they haven't announced anything yet. Yes, we have crossed into double the amount of viewers for Modern this morning. That's why we're transitioning into Arena every day. For people that are enjoying my content, if you enjoy the way I describe my plays and things like that, be sure to check out my website and my YouTube channel as well for more content from myself. I'm also here live streaming Magic Arena on Twitch 5 days a week, Monday through Friday. I start about 11:30/noon Central Standard Time, and I go till about 5 or 6 o'clock. So I'm going to be going for another 4 hours or so today at least. Thanks for hanging out. Correct, yes. Magic Online leaves a lot to be desired compared to coming from Magic Arena. Video games are great. Magic is great. Magic video game, extra great. This is unfortunately an excellent Hearthstone hand, but it's a pretty mediocre Magic hand since we need some lands here. This hand is very, very good. This hand is quite excellent. 1, 2, 3. It's just elementary. What could it be? Never forget, chat. Real decks have curves. Woohoo! That's a pretty good one. Man, if we hit the 4th land on time. Hey Jeff, what did the kiddos get for Christmas? Listing the things they didn't get for Christmas would probably be shorter, Beetle. Both grandma and mom kind of went overboard. Yeah, they have a lot of stuff. I'm gonna be getting rid of some of their older stuff, in fact, when we move next month. Monkey's Paw, Pod gets unbanned in Modern, but Arena Ladder is forever best of 1. I would choose to not get Pod back. So do I play? Yeah, playing Warboss. So here's the thing though. My opponent showed me copies of Essence Scatter, which if they have Scatter here, playing Warboss is pretty bad. Syncopate gets it either way. The upside of Legion Warboss flipping the landing is pretty high though. So I think I'm gonna jam this. I'm gonna get scattered and feel kind of dumb, but this is a pretty high upside play because it flips the landing over. Yes, we did find a house. We're supposed to be closing on January 10th. Okay. It's also a little bit mediocre against Justice Strike. I don't know, even if I draw the 4th land next turn, I might wait a second, because, like, Heroic Reinforcements post-history is much better. Yeah, fiber internet was a must. I can't believe people stream full-time on Twitch and, like, don't have fiber internet. I can't imagine dealing with Comcast nonsense. Some of us don't have a choice. I don't know, like if you're streaming full-time as a job, it's probably worth relocating. Like if you're making a full-time wage streaming, it's probably worth relocating to get fiber internet, at least in my opinion. Like obviously if you're doing it at a hobby, and it's not about the speed, 777. So like my Comcast internet was more than fast enough to stream with theoretically. It's just the consistency you don't get. So like with my Comcast internet, I would get, 100 down and 25 up, but I wouldn't always get that speed. Some amount of the time I wasn't getting those speeds, and then you have connection issues. Yeah, the way this has worked out, I really wish I would have played History of Benalia on 3. Just because of the double counterspell here. Quality of service is a big deal. We're probably dead here if we don't rip Ixalan's Binding. Yeah, we're very dead. That's unfortunate. Punted the first game there in that set, and I definitely could have sequenced my cards differently on turn 3 there. I don't know if I made the wrong decision with the information that I had on turn 3, but the way that their cards ended up lining up against what we had, I definitely would have been better off that game if I would have played the History of Benalia on 3. How are we doing, folks? Welcome. Thanks for hanging out today. My name is Jeff Hogan. I'm a full-time streamer and content producer here on Twitch. If you find yourself enjoying my content, please consider subscribing to my channel. My subscribers are the people that keep me employed here full-time. I wouldn't be here day in and day out without their wonderful support. By subscribing, you can also support my stuff by checking out some of my very wonderful sponsors. The Nerd Rage Gaming Championship Series does $5,000 cash tournaments every single month in the Midwestern United States in 2019. Hey, RQR Master X85. 35, thank you for the 35-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. If you're not in the Midwest but you enjoy Paper Magic coverage, they also do broadcast coverage of their tournaments every single month at twitch.tv/NRG series. Cardsphere.com will love to help you turn your cards into other cards to their players. There's no haggling, and they just take a 1% fee off of the top. InkedGaming.com will love to help you customize your gaming experience using code Jeff12. You can save 12% on custom playmats, mouse pads, binders, and bags with them. You can upload your own custom artwork or choose from the wide range of custom artwork that they have on their website. And of course, I'd like to welcome everyone out there to Hoaglandia. I know there's a lot of great people making a lot of great stuff on Twitch right now, and I appreciate you choosing to spend part of your Wednesday here with us. My name is Jeff. As I mentioned, I'm here 5 days a week on Twitch, so if you enjoy constructed magic content, this is definitely a place for you. Be sure to give the channel a follow if you're enjoying what you see. Heading on into our next match here with this red-white token stack. I think I'm supposed to keep this. This is one of those hands where, depending on what my opponent's playing, how good this hand is going to vary wildly. So, like, if this is a matchup where, like, Shock and Lava Coil have a text box, so, like, if they're playing creatures, this hand's very good. However, if they're not playing creatures, they're playing something like Jeskai control, this hand suddenly becomes very bad because it has 2 cards in it that aren't useful. And this is one of the things that makes best of 3 so important to Magic in my mind, is that Magic being, oh well, they've stumbled and died. All right, Magic being best of 3 is important too, because in the post-board games, not only do you get to subscribe, or not only do you get to sideboard, not subscribe, sideboard, you also get to make educated mulliganing decisions. Looks like we're playing against white-red aggro. All right, so what do I want to do here? I'm just shocking this and then attacking for 3. Well, my mind is always heading towards shilling subscribers, right? Mikey with the sub gift towards Maddie Vamante. Thank you for the support. Who's the weasel? Alright, so this is probably a matchup where I want to board in things like these that play a little bit of offense and defense simultaneously. Experimental Frenzy probably leaves a bit to be desired here. Legion Warboss probably isn't stellar, right? Did they officially change? I believe that changes sometime in January, Big Mama, where it counts retroactively. Do we have to exile those tokens if we have Divine Visitation out? I think so, but I'm not 100% on that. Also, they're probably just dead if you have Divine Visitation out, so it's not something that's going to come up a lot. Do I want Tocatli Honor Guard in this matchup? Just like having a 1/3 for 2 is like probably good, right? Actually, Adanto Vanguard's probably rancid. Yeah, I'm going to do that actually. I'm going to swap Adanto for Tocatli. Let's do this. Let's do this. I'm gonna sit down for a little bit. Enjoy the ride. Whoop. There's a bag from my lunch sitting on my chair. I think this is a mulligan. What do we think? It's just like, I don't know, I guess we can play all of our cards if we draw them. If we like brick on a spell for the first 2 turns though, we're probably gonna die. I'll make up random statistics in my chat. That's so annoying. Power with the brand new Twitch Prime sub. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here. All the conservative people who wanted to mulligan were right. All right, listen. All I'm going to say is you'll never lose because you mulligan to 5 if you always keep 7. Them's just the facts, okay? Adanto is rough. We will have a 2/5 on 4, so we can block that nicely, which is great. Just gonna shock down these tokens here. This isn't really a Boros Charm matchup, right? At least not the position we're in. So like turning these shocks into deal 4s on them is not where I really want to be in life. History of Benalia. All right, I'll take a Lyra. So we get to shock the second night token out of the history, and then we get to curve Aurelia into Lyra here, which this is gonna be impossible to race if they don't have a removal spell. Marshall. Get that one out of there before it gets bigger. Worth noting, this is a knight, which means this is going to get bigger from the History of Benalia next turn. Yeah, I can do that. Alcohol. Sounds good. Thank you for the support. Have a sword while we're at it. 4K for 4 color dinos. That should bump it into being played tomorrow, I believe. Woof. That means this can attack through. And then I'm gonna run the no blocks here because next turn I get to play Lyra. We are dead to shock this way, but Lyra is gonna give her lifelink and 1/1. So. So she's going to turn herself into a 5/6 and give us a 10-point swing here. Crunch. I am dead to a removal spell here because I'll remove Lyra, which gets rid of my lifelink. Am I dead to that? I'm actually not dead to that, right? I'm not sure. Let's see how they attack and then we'll figure it out. Oh, first strike should mean I'm super not dead, right? Because first strike will kill this before anything else happens. Yeah, first strike cuts this down, and then this is gonna, yep. Al Border Gorth, Merry Christmas to you too. Onward, upward, backward, forward. Big angels, real good. Being just a little bit bigger in the pseudo mirror matches like that is usually pretty good. So like having angels against their aggro creatures is great. Ugh. How much gold have I stockpiled? Not a lot. People, I think it's been a while since I've had to buy packs, but occasionally I have to buy packs so that way I can get mythic wild cards. So I'm not excited to keep a basic mountain on top of my deck there, but it's definitely better than missing my second land drop, so. Yeah, if we just draw like white sources for the next 3 turns, this hand's very good, so. I think it's definitely a keep. When you keep a hand like this, the question you have to ask yourself is what's more likely to happen? Am I more likely to draw a bunch of lands with this hand, or am I more likely to have a good 5-card hand? And I think our average 5-card hand is kind of mediocre. The log file shows you vault progress, but otherwise, no. So far we're doing as planned here. Could be Memekin Marty. Could also be Red Blackburn. Red Blackburn plays Electrostatic Field usually. We'll find out in a second here if they play things like Crash Through. Gutter Snipe, probably Memekin. Driving in my car, beep beep. We could die next turn. They could kill us here. Every spell they cast deals 3 points of damage. And like they get to attack for 2 since they don't have any blockers. So I get to do this, and then I get to attack with everything. So I want to flip Legion's Landing before I resolve my summoner trigger. So that way the summoner trigger can use this mana to make more tokens. That's a very important trigger ordering there. As a viewer and a player, I'm glad they cut team events for standard. I much prefer standard to team events. As far as like how bad changes feel, probably bad. I don't know. We're a little bit shy here, right? This is only 4, 5, 6, 7. So they're going to 2 here, and like all of their spells deal 4 extra at the moment. So we again, we could be dead here. We could be dead this turn. I guess we're not dead this turn. All right, so opponent's just like making us click through the motions here for whatever reason. Just showing us more cards out of their deck, I guess. This one lander worked out pretty okay. Running good. Remember, if you have to choose between being lucky and being good, I'd recommend choosing being lucky every time. Hey, D-Boss Laugh. Thank you very much for the brand new Prime support. I appreciate that. Welcome, welcome. Thanks for keeping me employed here with that. Yeah, I think the more I play this deck, the more I think it's probably just shouldn't be an experimental Frenzy deck. Hey, MVB. Thank you very much for the brand new tier 1 sub. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, the more I play here, the more I think it probably just shouldn't be an experimental Frenzy deck. Just be like, have another land and a couple other things. Yeah, the curve is high for Frenzy. I agree. I think I'd like a 25th land, and like two lands being the white utility land, and like have another 2 or 3 drop in there. Thank you for your videos, Jeff. You saved me from dealing with the monsters in law this Christmas. What's going on, Phoenix Land? 6 to 11 months. Welcome back. I don't know. I feel like we have a lot of good cards between heroic reinforcements and History of Benalia. I feel like we have the tools to go toe-to-toe with the more grindy decks. And like, just Banefire helps as well. Yeah, hopefully, I really hope we get best of 3 ladder back soon, because I'd really like to make changes to these decks as we're playing them, but because we have to play events now, we're just like locked into the deck that we're playing. Snowstorm coming to the Midwest side. I have no idea, actually. So one of the great things about my job is that I basically just don't leave my house, but I guess I should probably look at the weather, because it might be worth going to get groceries if we're supposed to get weather tonight. Stock up on food and jazz in case we're gonna get snowed in. I think Wizards are gonna make a new extended format. No, they're gonna make a best of 3. They're gonna make a new non-rotating format, but I doubt we'll ever getting a second rotating format again. Playing this odd gabble of trying to make sure Naya ramp is towards the beginning of the standard portion so I could view it. What's going on, Kason? Thanks for the support. How much to put Memekin next instead of tomorrow? You put 20 at it earlier, which puts Memekin to 39 currently, Marty. So it will be up tomorrow, I promise. Do I want a Tajic? If I Tajic here, I could smash in and like get this token cranking up in points. I think I want to do that. I don't know, maybe it's right to play history. Getting this mentor in seems really valuable though. Just like starting to gain some points of life, and there could be a potentially more aggressive mirror match. Marty, if you... I think it's actually already going to be at the top. How late are you going to be here today, Marty? Because I actually don't have a hard cutoff, so for you, I'll add Memekin to the end today. Do I have your current list linked in there? Can run a little bit long today. Huh. So if I heroic here, I get a little smashy, but if I history, next turn I can heroic and hit for a ton. Rant them for... So like next turn, we'll get to make another 2/2, turn them all into 4/3s, and then heroic, turn them all into 5/4s. You got him. Could have played Warboss, attacked, and then... No, that's not true. One of these knights had summoning sickness. One of these knights was summoning sick. Yeah, second day of Christmas isn't really a thing here in the United States. Pretty much everyone's back to work right away. Boxing Day in Canada. We shall rise. You have a shield and not a sword. Welcome to the Knights. Alright, put you to 1, go. Goes the weasel. Do 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 do. Alright, 3 and 1. Let's play at least one more here. Thanks everyone for hanging out. Hope you're having a good one wherever you're at. What does Boxing Day refer to? Is that like boxing like boxes, or boxing is like punching people? Seems really good. Is the interface the stack itself, or does it ask you what you want to... The interface is the stack itself. It's a really good interface, actually. The order that it appears on the interface is the order it goes on the stack. So whatever is on top is going to be the top thing on the stack and resolve first. This hand is not particularly good against an aggressive deck game 1 here. Boxing Day is after Christmas, returns gifts you didn't like. All right. Yeah, them having history on the play is gonna be pretty rough here. Yep. And like this Dauntless Bodyguard is also a knight here, so it's also gonna get powered up by this History of Benalia. Yeah, we're pretty done. I'm just not gonna show them more cards out of my deck. They don't know exactly what we're doing necessarily, so I'm gonna go ahead and take the next game on the play here. Do I want the extra land? Maybe. Legion Warboss is pretty bad. Yeah, I'm gonna take the extra land, especially on the play. think this deck's probably supposed to have 25 lands in it anyways. It's one of the pieces of suggestion, one of the suggestions I'm gonna have when we're done. His hand, like, needs to draw a land or two, but it's pretty reasonable otherwise. Legion's Landing's pretty decent in this matchup, because it just, like, trades for their 2/1s, which is great. Plains. Alright, second history is pretty good. If we had a white source next turn, get a good strong. The history into history curve, especially on the play, is pretty backbreaking. I would like to block. Ding, ding, ding. Card's real good. Yep. History on the draw. A lot less good. You always lead on the check land is the utility. It just doesn't matter is what it comes down to a lot of the time. Honestly, I should probably stop leading on the check land just so I can like stop answering that question. Because we waste a ton of time answering that question on this stream, I feel. Because people are always like, is there some big reason why you lead on the check land? It's like, no, it just doesn't matter. In this, actually, I am a liar. After I just said that, in this specific situation, this game, because I had double Legion Landing in my hand, it's correct to lead on the Clifftop Retreat rather than the basic mountain. Because with that sequencing, if I drew a basic plains on 2, I could have double Legion's Landing, which would have been a big deal. All right, well, they're offering this trade, and since this isn't going to pop off here next turn, I'm going to go ahead and take it. Go ahead and shock their knight here, so I don't have to take a 4-ball next turn. Lets me get in for 4 here as well, before this pops off next turn. Interesting that they kept Venerated Lockstone in a matchup like this. I was favoring boarding them out just because, like, when your opponent's also kind of aggressive, it tends to be less good. So they want to eat my 1/1 for free. They take 12 and go down to 4, which I think is good for me. Like go summoner here. These things basically attack for +4 next turn. So like I'm adding 6 power to the table basically, which is nice. Marshall. Like bump 1 and then make sure I don't die to a burn spell and then untap and kill them. You think I'm pretty happy with how I boarded there? I'm gonna keep the same game plan for the draw. Yeah, the Summoner's a card that I thought was gonna be kind of low quality just to like work with the Divine Visitation, but it's actually been kind of sweet all on its own. Hey, Slaga, thanks for the 4-month resub. I appreciate that. Welcome back. Thanks for the Prime support. This hand's a little land heavy, but it's got spells in it that I really want to see in this matchup, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it. If I fail to draw spells, this hand's going to be real bad, but most spells are bad if you don't draw a hand. A lot of the games we've won have not involved Visitation. Visitation was very good against the control matchup that we played earlier today. So we have a shock for one of their knights next turn. If they have red source reinforcements here, we're probably dead. They brought in Tocatli Honor Guard of their own. Okay. They have a Conclave Tribunal, it looks like, based on how they're counting things. Thinking about what they want to tap. Oh, Woof. Oh, it doesn't do anything. Nice. They have their own Tocatli Honor Guard with Venerated Loxodon. Sure. Sure. Alright. Spells are overrated. Grab some of our prizes here. Look at that. Look at that. Mythics we didn't quite have enough of already. That's OP. Alright, Boreos tokens. I kind of liked what this deck was doing. This deck was like a little bit bigger version of the white-red aggro deck. I'm not really I don't really care for the experimental frenzies. I think if I was going to play this deck again, I would probably put in a couple of Memorial to Glories in the deck, like cut one planes and like go up to a 25th land and do that. And then I might put in a couple more fours. The top end to have a little bit extra beef. So like you could put Aurelia in the main. You could put another thing that makes tokens. I mean, Siege Gang Commander might be sweet. Couple of these since I'm going up another land. That doesn't seem unreasonable. Something like that. But I definitely want a 25th land in the main deck, and I want a couple of Memorial to Glory, so like have a utility land, so I'm not going to be flooding out as often when I play this deck. As always, if you missed any of the matches with that deck and you want to see the rest of them, we went 4-2 in that set, I believe. They'll be uploaded to my YouTube channel later, and you'll be able to catch them after the stream. I'm going to be moving right along here today. We've got 3 more decks, it looks like, that I want to get on through. So we got green, red Explorers next.